Well, I had this incredible philosophy teacher in high school, and so that was honestly like a big part. Looking back, I didn't even really know that many of like the seminal like philosophy works. Like I still don't necessarily. Okay, see, I feel weird about this question because I actually am not sure I have too much stake in being remembered by anybody.
Hi, so I'm here with Jesse at Prelow.
Hey.
So you were born in Maine or grew up or?
I was actually born in Nebraska and then I moved to Maine when I was 2.
Yeah.
And I've been living in New York for the last like 7 years.
Yeah. What brought your parents out to move to Maine?
My dad was a college professor.
Oh.
So we got a job out there. And,
yeah.
Yeah, and I have like old family from Maine too.
What did he teach?
He taught classics.
Oh.
Like Latin and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you into that stuff?
Not that much.
Yeah.
I definitely took some like Latin courses in high school just to sort of like, you know, play that game, but no, I haven't really kept up with it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And what does your mom do?
She was also a teacher.
Oh.
Taught the same thing, actually.
That's so cute.
Yeah. It is.
How would you describe yourself back then, like growing up?
Like myself?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like play in the woods a lot with my brothers and with friends, and yeah. I think when I was in like 4th grade or something, I had this club with a few of my friends, and we named it after this club in the Calvin and Hobbes comics. And we would just like make up games and sports and like keep all these like long running tallies of like who'd won for, like, the summer and
that
stuff.
sounds so cute.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That was fun. And then are your parents into music or? My
mom like played banjo and she also tap dances.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did she teach you? Or like banjo or
she might have tried actually when I was a kid. I don't remember though. I'm sure she tried to get us like to like sort of dance and stuff. I'm sure we didn't want to. What
kind of music does she listen to or played in the house?
She listens to a lot of sort of like soft rock maybe, or like there's this band the Jayhawk she would always listen to.
Yeah.
But we listen to so much like Beatles and like U2. Like my dad would always play these records in our like sort of family room, and as kids we would like just go crazy like dancing to them and stuff.
Do you think that influences the music you make now?
I'm sure it does. I still listen to the Beatles all the time. So, but not maybe so directly though.
Yeah.
You know.
What are your parents' personalities like?
Let's see. Well, my mom grew up in Maine in like this really small town, so she's super all about like, well, I wouldn't say she's all about it, but she's very like, you know, likes to keep up with friends and is very like caring and like very, you know, like she was like taking care of the family, you know. And my dad also that too. He's sort of more like he's always trying to like pick up a new hobby and like get really good at something new, which is fun.
Yeah. And then what was the first music that you found by yourself, like early on?
The first record I bought with my own money was, I bought 2 records at the same time. I bought a John Bon Jovi album, I think it was called like Crush or something, and I bought a play by Moby.
Yeah.
It was like really, really random. I don't know why I got those. But then like the first music I like really loved like that I sort of like was like, oh, I'm really into this was like Weezer, I think, maybe like some Blink-182 or Green Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your first instruments that you played?
Guitar.
Yeah.
Always guitar. Yeah.
What age was that?
In like 3rd grade I started playing, I think. Yeah.
Was that something that your parents like got you, or did you ask them to like get you a guitar?
I think they started sort of being like, it would be cool if you played a musical instrument.
Yeah.
And then I think I sort of picked up the guitar, and I really didn't like it for a while. And it was only when I started like learning songs that I actually really liked that I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. I want to like
Oh.
keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, before that it was like, I don't want to practice. You know?
Were you into school growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
were your favorite subjects?
I don't know. Oh man, I don't know. Probably like the subjects that weren't subjects. Like as a kid,
Yeah.
you know, if recess counts. probably like some English stuff. Yeah, English history type stuff.
Do you think like early on, like already liking English helped with your songwriting?
The like playing the.
Oh no, like early on, like writing English. Oh, like English itself, like helped with your songwriting.
Probably. I haven't really thought about that too much. But I feel like reading like some cool books and then just like, it sounds really stupid, but like learning different words and using them. I don't know.
Yeah. After school, did your parents like want you to get a degree, or did you like want to get a degree yourself for NYU?
I never wasn't gonna go to college, I don't think. Like I originally was studying philosophy.
Oh, at NYU?
At NYU, yeah. And then, but I'd sort of gone to New York City because I knew I also wanted to do music.
Yeah.
And that sort of makes sense. But then I transferred into like a music program after my freshman year, because it had just become clear that was like really what I wanted to try to do.
What about philosophy early on that you love about it, that you wanted to study it?
Well, I had this incredible philosophy teacher in high school, and so that was honestly like a big part. Looking back, I didn't even really know that many of like the seminal like philosophy works. Like I still don't necessarily, but I like thinking about the nature of things, or thinking about like structures within which to view other things.
Yeah.
So inarticulate.
How did it click to you, or what was the turning point that you realized you wanted to study music?
I think I met some people when I moved to New York, and like kept making music with them, and then it became clear that there was an opportunity to do that. Yeah. So I just went with it.
In high school, were you already like putting stuff out?
Oh yeah. I played with these two kids from my high school from the age I was like in 6th grade until like senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had this band, and we would like drive like 3 hours into northern Maine to play for like 3 people at like a veterans hall.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to any of like the veterans hall DIY show scenes, but yeah, we did that all throughout high school.
What was the name?
It was called the British Incline.
Oh, is it online still, the stuff?
I was checking for it actually like 2 weeks ago. I think some songs are online.
Yeah.
It's really like, it's more just like heavy rock or like rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, really different than Prelow.
And for like studying music at NYU, looking back, do you think you can get to where you are without it?
I mean, people definitely do. I think you could. I personally met a lot of people. Like I met Matt at NYU.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say if I hadn't met him, where I would be or what I would be doing. There's tons of great professors. So yeah, it's hard to say.
Right before him, were you in a different band, or were you in a solo project, different moniker?
I was playing more like sort of folk indie music in this group called Little Sir around New York, yeah.
And then, wait, did it like dissolve, or like how did you and then form a duo?
It just because I'd started working on music with Matt, and I sort of realized that it was something I really wanted to do more, so just the time I had to put into both didn't make sense.
What about Matt, did you realize that you could form a duo with him?
Well, we come from really different musical backgrounds. Like, he listened to a ton of hip-hop growing up, and I just started sort of getting more into hip-hop and electronic music, and I'd always played guitar and sung, and, like, we just sort of liked different stuff, but then when we got together, it seemed pretty seamless to combine those two things, so I think that's what that was sort of cool and exciting about it when we started working together.
So were you never in like a solo artist project?
I'm sure I like put out songs,
Yeah.
on like MySpace or something like that. But no, never really.
Yeah. And then how would you say that your music has changed from the early songs that you put out?
Like my songs.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's like beats now. There's like energy to them. There's maybe some lyrics that are a little more meaningful. It sounds really different. You should listen to some of this old stuff. I think you'd be surprised how different it is.
Yeah. And also about your like lyrics about like females.
About females.
I'm not describing. I was like, females, women.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
the
though,
broad
I think.
category of women.
What made you wanted to talk about it like in that way?
Well, I was in New York, just sort of just hanging out with people and women included in that, and going out at night and all that. So it felt pretty natural.
And you said in a previous interview that it's kind of like your diary or like your personal self in it.
Oh yeah.
Did it always click to you from the onset that you wanted to approach it in more of like a diary, like personal, like introverted way?
Well, it always made sense to, when we were sitting down to like write a song or like thinking about lyrics, I think some of the first stuff that would pop into my head would be something that I had done the night before or something that I was feeling at that time. So I think that's how that came about. I think it's much easier to write if you're writing about something that you've really been through, if that makes sense.
Did you ever feel like afraid that you're putting too much of your personal self out there, or like the person you're writing about, would they know that you're writing about them?
Honestly, I've never been that worried about that. It sort of seems like part of the deal if you're an artist, a musician.
Yeah. What would you say have been your biggest challenges so far?
As a band, as a person?
Up to you.
Biggest challenges so far? I don't know. Maybe like dealing with change. Growing older, dealing with change.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, you just have to adapt. Sometimes it's difficult to be further away from family. Sometimes people change and you have to make a decision if you want to accommodate that or not. Yeah.
So what do your parents actually think of like the whole music thing? I mean, like right after you graduated, you signed that deal, right, Matt said?
Yeah. They couldn't be more supportive, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're really cool about it. Both my mom and dad are pretty creative, so they're pretty excited that I got to go do this, I think. Yeah.
What was the journey like from like when you signed the deal to now?
I think some of the difficulties are, on the one hand, like creativity is sort of weird. Sometimes like you don't feel like writing music or whatever, and when you're in a band, you're with other people, so you have to deal with like the interpersonal relationships of that. I think those are probably some of the two more difficult things. But then there's like really great things too.
For your music videos, what would you say have been your inspirations for them and like the way it's shot?
I really like Wes Anderson stuff. I like Stanley Kubrick stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to continue to even incorporate more of those influences, I think.
What about them do you like?
Well, I think Wes Anderson has just like the coolest framing and set design, and like the colors, all the colors match. And like,
I love the colors in your music videos.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm such a color person, so I'm like, I can feel it. Yeah, I don't know if you know what I mean, but yeah.
No, definitely.
Especially
colors
like
make
the color,
you feel something. I like when, it's like complementary colors are contrasting.
Yeah.
And then Stanley Kubrick is just sort of more like pure, unadulterated genius on like a style level, I think, and storytelling. So.
Yeah. Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Okay, see, I feel weird about this question because I actually am not sure I have too much stake in being remembered by anybody. I think I'd rather just be a positive influence in some way to people or maybe culture while I'm here. And then I think after I think after I'm gone, I mean, I sort of think that's it for me. So yeah, I'm not as concerned about legacy as I think some people are.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.